So hello everyone, thank you so much for watching. So this is day 4 of Oracle SQL training session, and in this session we will discuss about DML operations, or we can say DML commands. So in DML we have total 4 commands: insert, update, delete, and merge. So in this session we are going to discuss on all this. So first we will start from insert. So as we have already practiced the insert command, which is going to help us to insert data into database table. So obvious, first we have to create the table, and in the table, if we want to insert the records or data, we have to use insert into command. That insert into commands help us to insert data into the table. So obvious, there can be like more than one way to insert data. So the first way you can see the simple way which we use, that insert into table name, and here we have to use the values keyword. That this values is the keyword that define that these all are the values which we have to store into this table. And when we are using the first structure, sorry, to insert data, it's mandatory to provide the data or provide the information in sequence, in which sequence we created the table. So suppose while creating table, we given the first column as roll number, second column as student name, third column as student date of birth, fourth column as student mark something. So we have to insert the data in such a way only, right? Another way can have that here you can see we didn't provide any column name, right? We are not going to define the first value is related to which column. But obvious, while inserting data into table, we can use that one too. So here you can see we are using insert into table. This is the table name, and these all are the columns in which we want to insert data. So you can see first column is roll number. That's why our first value is roll number. Second column is a student name. That's why our second value is student name. And third column is student date of birth. That's why here we have third column is student date of birth. So if you will see why we are using these values, right? If the same thing we can achieve using the first SQL statement, so why we need to provide all this sequence here, right? Why we have to provide the column name here if we can insert records without column name also? So the reason behind using this column name is here you can see one point I highlighted. So when we are using insert into command and providing the value, this value should be in the same sequence in which sequence table is created. This point is valid only when we are not providing the column name. So here in this second insert statement, we have provided the table columns name. So when we are providing the column name, it's not mandatory to provide the value in sequence. But yes, it's mandatory to provide the value in sequence, the way in the sequence we added the column here. So it can be possible that while using this command, the first column I can make here as a student name, and we can provide the student name value in the first column. So if you have that kind of requirement, yes, you can go for insert into with the column name. Another reason using insert into with column name is here you can see when we have to insert data, right? It's mandatory to provide data or provide information for each and every column available in this table. We cannot skip any of the column. If we will try to skip any of the column, it will throw an error, and that error message says something insufficient data provided. It means that whatever number of columns data SQL table is required, we are not passing that much of column to the insert command. But if we will use this one, if we will use the column name while inserting data into table, it's not mandatory to provide value for each and every column. We can insert only two columns data into the table. That kind of things we can do. And the third one is when we have to insert data into table. So instead of providing this value, we can get values from another table. For example, here you can see we are storing data into a student this table with all this column, and we are getting data from again from same table. This can be any other table or something. Just like this is a student table, we can get the data from registration table, and from registration table we can pick all this column and we can insert all this column into this table. So that kind of things we can do. I will explain when we'll go for practical. So we are done with insert command. Now next we have update command. So remember, update command is we are using to change the value value for that table. So for example, we have student one having name ABC, and we want to change their class or section. So this time we are playing with data, not playing with table. So when we have to play with data, we have to change the value of data and all. We will go for update command. And this is the quite simple update command that update SQL table set insert. SQL class is equals to BCA. It means that whatever number of record available in this SQL table, all record values for this column SQL class will be set by BCA. So suppose in this table there is 10 records, 10 SQL information, and all these 10 information will be set by BCA for the column SQL class. Sometimes we require, instead of changing the value for all the records, we can have that values, any specific values based on condition. So in SQL, if we want to add any condition, that's why we are using where keywords. You can say WHERE, where this is the keyword. This keyword help us to add the condition or add the filter in our SQL queries. So this is the query update SQL table. Set SQL class is equals to BCA, where SQL class is equals to B10. So it will not blindly go and update all the records from the column SQL class. So instead of that, it will first find all the records which having the SQL class value as B10, and it will change this B10 to BCA because having the same column. So that's why we are using where keywords. And next we have delete. Delete keyword we are using to remove the record from table. And same way, if you want to remove the record from table, we can remove entire records from table or we can remove any specific record. So if we want to remove entire record from the table and make that table empty, we can use delete from this table. So this will delete record from this table, every record from this table. And if we want to delete any specific record, that we want to delete all the SQL information from the table which is having SQL class as built-in. So we can add the condition here in the way. So this is the way we can add condition in the delete statement or add the condition is where statement. So now the last one is merge. So merge statement or merge command is combination of two operations, that is insert and update. You can see insert and update. So this is the syntax for writing the merge query. So merge will help you to do both operation in a single hit only. For example, we are going providing the data to insert in this table, and if we want that a record already there in the table, so instead of insert, go and do update of the record. For example, we have already one student inserted into this student table, and the student class is one. And again, next time we got a request to insert record into the table, but that student is already there in the table. So instead of adding another row with class second, suppose we got the same student and the student having another mobile number or something, mobile number or an email, but a student having the same student is available in the system, just like a student roll number or student name. So instead of insert, we will go for update, and we will update that specific student with the desired information which we have to insert into the table. So that if new record will be there, it will insert that new record. Or if suppose new employee will there, new student will there, it will insert the record. And if that student already exists in the table, it will update that. Uh, the it will update the student. So that's why we are using merge operation. So please make a note. All these four commands: insert, update, merge, and delete are the DML commands, and we know that DML commands are not auto commit. So and it can be rolled back. So what is the use of this? I'm going to show you that one. So let's move to the practical side. So we'll start from insert. So let me create one more table here. So yeah, query already, right? So this is the same create query we used in last time. So let me open another sheet here. So Oracle Excel and here. So I will give the name as XX underscore student table. So this is our table name. And now this table having all this column, and we want to create this table. So I just executed the code and table is created. Now I want to insert the record into this table, right? So remember we have few steps or few way to insert. So the first way we can simply insert by providing the column values. Second way we can insert with this column name by providing the column name. So we will go one by one. So we had already that insert command. So let me copy this one. So this is the insert command that we are using to insert data into the table. So here you can see this 101 is the roll number. And friend, here you can see this 101 doesn't have the single quotes, right? While providing the value for name, that SAM, SAM, we use single quotes, right? So why we use single quotes? Single quotes define the string values or define the varchar values. And we know that the column student name having the data type as varchar, that's why we use single quotes. So whenever you will get varchar kind of thing, varchar kind of values, you just have to use single quotes. And for number data type, we don't require any single quotes. That's why this 101 is without single quotes. That's value. So the first value is related to his roll number, second value is related to a student name, and this third value is related to a student date, DOB, right? And data type is date. So here we use date to date function. This is called function, right? So whenever you will see any name by this parenthesis, you can easily understand this is the function, right? This is the function. So here this toDate function is responsible for converting this string type data. What I told you any value inside the single quotes will be considered as varchar values, right? So here you can see this date is varchar value, but we required here in SQL column we require date type values, right? So this toDate function is responsible for converting this string value or converting this varchar value into date type, but this function asks some information. So this function is saying that this value I have to convert into date type, but what kind of value you have provided? Let me know. So now when we added this one, so we are saying that the first two values is date. That's why I use DD, and the second character is slash, and next two is month. That's why I used MM. This is the standard syntax, right? You have to use the same. And the last four column, the last four character is YYY, that is year, in the four character form. So that this function will understand that, okay, this is the date values, and I have to convert these date values into date format. You can see this. So internally it will convert this value into date. So this it will be our complete value. This value will be now here in single quotes it is varchar value, and by adding all these things it will be date values. So now third column we are done. Fourth column is student class, and again it is number. That's why while adding one we didn't provided any single quotes. And remember, comma is for each and every each and every values. So we are this is our first value. Now we have to add second value. That's why we given comma. This is our second value. Now we have to add third value. That's why we given comma. And in last you can see we don't have comma, right? Because this number is our last value. After that we don't have any value. That's why we didn't given comma. And this is the parenthesis we just added, right? And last is the semicolon. So while using this query, while writing this query, make sure that you didn't do any mistake, you didn't add an extra column, or you didn't forget to add the single quotes. Else you will get an error. So here you can see this value is related to email, the fifth values, and the last one is related to SQL contact. And this is varchar. That's why here we given this value in single quotes. So now we have to execute this query. Just select this one and just click on this one. So once this query will be executed, the record will be inserted. You can see one record inserted. And if you want to see the data, just copy the table name and here go below and you select a star from the table name. So you will be able to see one record inserted. Again, if you want to insert another record, you can just have a copy of that record and just change the value and something like that. And if you want to insert, this record will be inserted. You can see another insert record. So here you can see, well, when you will execute the code, you will get various times log message here, right? And if you want to delete all the log message so that you didn't confuse, here you can see in the SQL developer, we have the eraser button, right? Eraser icon. Just click here, all the log message will be deleted. So now we have two records. If you want to display the two records, go select star, two records is there. And I already explained that why we are using a star here. So we are using a star here to display all the columns available in the table. Sometimes we are using a star to check the what is the column available in this table. For example, there is another developer who developed this query to create table, and they just given you the name, and they said told you to insert records. So you are not aware about which all columns are there. So you can just directly go and just use select star from table. Then in result you will get to know all the columns available. So this is the another use of select star. Okay. So this is the first way to insert record without columns name. So this is the first way I use to insert record without column name, right? Now second way is to insert records with table column name. So why we will use column name? So I told you. So for example, here you can see. So this is the value I want to insert, right? So for example, I don't have mobile number, right? I don't have mobile number. I want to insert. So I will remove this mobile number, and once I will enter, it will throw an error. That will just work. And you can see the error message. And remember, it's your initial time, right? While learning SQL. So remember, whenever you are executing code, getting error, don't be frustrated. Just go and try to understand the error message, what he is saying. You can see in this case, it's clearly mentioning that not enough values, right? We don't have enough values. We don't have required values here. That's why getting error. So here, this table requires total number of 336 column. But how many values we provided? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's why he's saying that we don't have enough values. So if you will provide value here, it will not. And most of the time, mistake you can do, you forget to remove the column, an extra column, right? Here, this is the comma, and this comma is extra. The comma here, it means that we have some values, right? But if we don't have values, if you will execute, you will get an error. What error you are saying that? Missing expression. It means that the syntax or the code you written, that is not correct. Even in SQL developer, this is the beauty of SQL developer. This is our incorrect code, and you can see the error highlighted here. So you just have to go through, and this is the rule, right? We cannot have extra comma here. So just you have to remove the comma. Most sometimes what you will do, you will provide the value in the single quotes, but you will forget to add single quotes in last. Right? Again, if I will execute, it will throw an error. So now here you can see it's saying that quoted string not properly terminated. This quoted string is not terminated. That's true. So what I will do, I will check where I have done mistake. I will check here, no, this is done, and I will get to know, okay, here I missed it, so I will add. So now if we will execute, this will be executed. Sometimes what you can do, so while inserting this data, while writing this code, instead of values, you can write value, right? VLUE, S is missing, right? And I told you these values insert into all these are keywords, and we cannot change the value of keyword, or we cannot change the name of keywords. So these keywords will be completed by providing S in last, but we didn't provide it. And here you can see it's showing that error here. It means that nearby this one, somewhere there is an error. So maybe you are not able to identify. Just execute the code, and this code will say that missing select statement. Missing select statement doesn't mean that the select statement you are using here. So missing select statement is something that you have missed in the code. Just go and check. So again, what you will do, you will go and you will from scratch, you will try to search where you have done mistake. Into it's fine, insert is fine, table name it's okay. And here we will get to know, okay, values is wrong. So here I will provide the values. Now if I will execute, the third row will be insert. For example, sometimes you can also get the error that this is the value, right? So instead of this number values, if I provide single quotes here, right? So this single quotes make that value as this is the number values, right? 1003 is the number. But when we provided single quotes in any of the value, that value is treated as varchar. And if you will try to insert, it will. So let me add any values here. More number one. So okay, one inserted because it's taken that string to number, but it will, I think it will not take Okay, for example, this is the varchar. If I put here 1,000, so okay, it's going to auto convert that varchar to number to varchar. But yes, in upcoming days when you will use this command in OIC or somewhere else, you will get to know the error message. It will say that mismatch values, something like number to date, number to character conversion, that kind of error. So we can have. So our point is, we were trying to check the second way to insert record, right? So here you can see our requirement was not to provide the values for the last column, right? And when we are executing, we are getting error. So let me remove this all lag message here. So if I will execute, I will get an error that is saying that not enough values. So for removing that error, that I don't want to insert that values in the column. So the first way we can see that in last time that we can provide a null here. So null means empty values. So if I will execute, this empty value will be inserted. Right. So here let me make it 4 so that we can identify, and this 4 having the null values here. So this is NU double L, right? And we don't have single quotes here. If we will add single quotes, that will be a string. But this null is the keyword, and this null is the keyword which having the specific meaning as empty value. So we inserted the record, and if you will query the table, you will be able to see this one. So 104 is the record, and thus 104 doesn't have any value here. It's null. Right? We already discussed same earlier. But this is like it's a bit difficult, right? For example, I don't want to provide this date here, right? And I want to insert without date. So again, if we will go obvious, we will get an error. That error will say that not enough values. So how we will prevent? It's not like that we will go here and we will again use NU double L. How many nulls we will use? Right. So instead of that, what we can do, whatever values we are providing here, we have to make the column name here so that SQL engine or compiler can understand that we are going to insert data into this table, and that in this table we don't need to insert all the column, we just need to insert a specific column. So this is our first column as roll number, so I will copy this roll number here. Second column is a student name, so this is a student name, right? So I will make this student name. Third is class, so student class, and fourth is email, so email here, and the last is last I don't want to be, right, so I will delete none from. So I just want to insert only these 4 values, that's why I given the 4 name here, right? And just go and click on enter, so you can see the record inserted. And if you will have, let me make it 5, right? And once when this record inserted, and if you will go do the query, all column will be filled with null values or empty. You can see this is the 1005 1005 RAM and email we given, and the class, and the remaining is null values, right? So this is the another use of this, using the column name while inserting. Another way is, another reason behind using this insert into with the value is, for example, 3, to insert a record without table columns sequence. So here you can see right now we inserted record in correct sequence, right? The first value is roll number, second value is his name, third values is class, and fourth is student name. And all these columns are in sequence here, right? In sequence. But for example, the third column here, you can see the third column is date. And if we remove this column from here, right? And yeah, so instead of that, for example, if we want to insert records in like this is the first column is roll number, I want to provide the first column in last, right? In last, then how compiler will understand this is the roll number? To understand the compiler, we have to use the roll number column in the last here, right? So that based on this column sequence, whatever we are providing here, compiler will understand, okay, the first value we will get in the values keyword is name. Second values we are getting here is student class. Third values we are getting here is student email, that kind of things, right? So if I will hit here as a 6, Again, this record will be inserted and we can query the records. You can see 6 inserted. So this is the third way to use insert command to insert all these records into the table. Now we are done with insert. So this thing I am using here, right? So before, if you will see, before writing anything, I use dash, right? So this double dash means comments, and comments, it means that whatever value we will write here in this worksheet, right? This is SQL worksheet. So whatever value we are writing, compiler will understand that value as a SQL queries. But suppose I written here, this is just for testing. This is not the SQL query, right? So we will execute this one. It will throw an error, right? It will throw an error that unknown commands and all. And but if you remember, I written this one just for testing purpose so that I can understand what I was doing here and all. So that's why here we have double line. Double line mention that comments. Double line meaning comments. The double hyphen. And comment, it means that it will just for displaying purpose. This displaying to our useful, right? We can use the hyphen just to our reference purpose so that we can read this message and understand the below code. For example, here I written this message so that whenever I can see this one, I can understand, okay, below query is related to inserting record without table column sequence. Okay, this below query is related to insert record with column name. This query is related to insert record without column name, right? So that we can understand. But when we will execute this one, compiler will not execute these two lines because these lines are comments. In SQL, we are writing comments like this one, double hyphen, right? Double dash. So when we will execute this statement, so here example, I given this double line and make this as comment. When I will execute, nothing will happen because compiler will not
Yeah.
execute this code. So whatever value start
Sorry
from
to
double
interrupt
line,
you. Hello, may I do well?
yeah,
Yeah, I'm saying like how we can like write a multi-line comments like in SQL.
so, yeah. So in SQL, writing the multi-line command is same as other programming language. This slash star is the starting and star
Okay.
slash is the ending. So whatever value we will write inside this one, it will be considered as
Mm,
comment. You can see. And if I will execute this one, it will not return any message because compiler will skip this part. So whenever compiler we see
yeah.
these two keywords, these two character at same places, it will start treating remaining character as a
Yeah.
comments until it will get these two values. So for
Thank
that you can use anything like that so that all these value will be treated as comments. So we'll use this later when I will come to that part. So just right now I just given you the brief. So now we are done with insert. So now we have to just go for update. So after insert, we have another operation that is update, and we know that update we are using to change the value in the table. For example, here you can see. Let me go and do the select star, and here you can see we have the contact number, right? So right now we have the contact number, but we want to make that contact number fixed for all this student as of now, because for example, while inserting record or while filling this form, right, by a student, we want that this column should be fixed for everyone and later we can update. It means that we want to update this column, right? This column with any specific values for all the records available here in the table. So in this table we have total 9 records, and we want to change the student contact column for all these 9 records with any values, something like that, 999 something. So how we can do? That's why we have update command. The syntax of update command is update. This is the keyword. This is a table name. This set is the keyword, and this is the column name in which column we have to update the value, and equals to this is the value which value we have to update. So let me go to this queries. Or update without condition or update all records. So what we will do? We will use update. This update is the keyword, and in SQL, keyword can be in a small or can be in upper letter because SQL is not a case sensitive programming language, which we already discussed, right? So instead of writing update in capital letter, we can use update in a small letter too. But generally, whenever I'm writing code, all the keywords I just want to use in capital letter so that it can be easy to understand that this is the keyword. So that's the practice I am following. I will just suggest you can also go and use this capital words. So now this is the update command we have to use. So update, we have to use a table, right? Update table name set. So update, this is our table name and set is our keyword. And which value we have to update? So we have to update the SQL column contact, right? In SQL developer, if you want to copy the header values here, right? SQL name. So instead of writing this column name again and again, what you can do, you can just right click here in the header only, not in the values, right? You have to just right click here, and here you can see we have one option, copy selected column headers, right? So just click here, this student underscore contact will be selected and copied, and once you can go and you can just click right click and paste. So once you will paste, you can see the student underscore contact is pasted here, and you want to set the value as something like 999 999 and enter. So what this update command will do, update command will update all the records available in this table having the values student contact, whatever value is there in the column, it will replace by 999. So you can see how many records updated, total 9 records updated. So whenever you will execute update commands, it will return back you the number of records updated. So in case of insert, we are getting one record inserted. Instead of update, we will get the that records updated. So now if you want to check, you can go to the table and you can search here. You can see. We checked here and we see that we are able to see all the column having the same values. But later, suppose later, next few days, we got update from Sam, which having the roll number 101. And he got a new mobile number and he want to change the mobile number here. So we want to update the mobile number for any specific student, not for all, right? We want to update the mobile number for a specific student having the values here, right? So what we can do, we will go and we will write the query and we will add the condition. So here we will copy the same, but with this code, right? With this code. So suppose they got the new contact number that is something else, 8864019481. Add. If you will execute, all record will be changed with this new number. But we want to update only a specific student having the roll number as 1001. So for that here, so we will remove the semicolon because semicolon defines that end of query. So right now it's not ended the query. So I will go here and I will write where. This where is the keyword, right? Where is the keyword, and here we have to add the condition. So what is the condition? Our condition is roll number is equals to 1001. This is our condition, right? So I will copy the roll number column here and I will add 1001. So this is our code, right? Update this table with the value as student contact number is equals to this one, where on that specific record where roll number is equals to 1001. Now execute this one. So once we will execute, you can see. So only one student having the roll number as 1001 and that specific record got updated. Now if you will go and do query, you can see. We are able to see this, right? Student 1001 have updated the mobile number, right? But suppose, like by mistake, you done this thing and you don't want to execute this query, but you already executed, right? You want to do the undo, right? Just like we are doing Control Z. So in SQL, we can also do, right? Undo, it means the last query we executed, we want to roll back the execution of that query. That's why we have rollback keywords. So here that rollback keywords or rollback commands. So here we have rollback, right? This is the keyword. So if I will execute this rollback, so whatever recent changes I have done, that will be rollback. So here you can see I will execute this one. So you can see rollback completed. And if I will go and I will execute this, select a star from table, that's removed, right? So here you can see we have one major point. So till now what we have done, we first executed this table command to create the table. So the table is created, right? After table created, we used insert command to insert record into this table, right? The records got inserted, and after that we used update command to update the values. That the records got updated, we are able to see. And after that I done the rollback. So when I done the rollback, and after when I checking the table, I'm not able to see any values. Why? The reason behind all this command we used except this create, that we use insert command, we use update command. All these commands are not auto commit because all these commands comes under DML. And we know that all the DML commands are not auto commit and it can be rollback. So that's why when we used rollback, whatever changes we have done before last commit, it's got rollback. So the last commit, what we have done? We have done the last commit as creation of the table. And if you remember, table creation is DDL operation, sorry, data definition language. Table creation is DDL operation, and all the DDL operations are auto commit. That's why when we create a table, we don't require to do commit. It's automatically committed. That's why when we do rollback, before after these things, this DDL commands, everything got rolled back and everything got removed. So again, if you will see here, we are just so using this one to insert the record. So one record inserted, right? One record inserted. If I will go and I will use select star, I am able to see, right? So again, if I will go roll back, this record will be rolled back or this record will be removed. Again, if we will go and click on search, we will not able to see. So now here we have another term is that is commit, right? So how we can commit? It means that how we can do the final changes in database. So here, suppose we inserted record, one record got inserted, and after that we have another command that is commit. This one. So if we will use this commit, it means that so whatever recent changes we have done, all the changes will be permanently saved in database. So again, you can see we done the commit, and after the commit, if you will see, we are able to see the same values. And if you will go roll back, we will not be able to roll back the changes. So again, if I will execute, I will be able to see the values. So why we are able to see the values after doing the rollback? Because we already committed our insert. So again, if you will see, we inserted another record 1002, and if I will do rollback, right, rollback. So here, let me show you the first record. This is, you can see here 1002 inserted. If I will go roll back, because I have not committed, right, and DML commands are not auto committed. So if I will roll back, this record will be removed. So here, if I will go roll back, and again if I will go select, you can see the record is removed. Why? Because DML is not auto committed, and when we inserted records, it inserted, but it's not final saved. And when we go for rollback, that's removed. So the same way, if I insert, let me insert another record. We inserted one more record. Here you can see we are able to see 1002. Let me insert again. This is the value. Let me suppose 1003. Let me insert this record. So two record is also two more. So you can see right now we have three records, right? So now if I will go and I will run the commit. So now that the commit completed and our changes has been successfully saved in database. Now if I will select here, we are able to see three records. If I will go roll back, the data will not be removed or it cannot be rolled back. Why? It cannot be rolled back. Here it's which means the rollback completed. It means that this code execution completed. If I will go roll back, you can see we are able to see all these three records. Why? Because it's already committed. Once we commit, we cannot roll back. That's the concept of rollback or commit. So all these DML operations are or not auto committed, and all the DDL commands are auto committed. So I will show you one more example when I will go for delete. Right. So now you are able to see that how we can update the records. Right. So for example, here you can see we have a student roll number 1003. this roll number doesn't have date of birth and this roll number doesn't have the student contact, but we want to update, right? We want to update these two values. So with the help of update commands, we can update two values or three values or more than one values in a single times, right? So how we can do? We will do update a student table. Set contact number is this one, and right here we have to use and another column. Which column? Student DOV, and we want to change the student DOV values to any values. For example, 01 hyphen SEP. So that's always and where student roll number is 1003. So here I will change the condition as 1003. Let me insert this one. Hopefully I will get an error. Oh, sorry. Instead of and I have to use comma. Right. So here. So when I ran this one, so one record inserted, and if I will go to the select queries, we will be able to see the sorry, which command? Okay. So this updated, and we are able to see the student roll number having 1003 change their date of birth and the mobile number, right? So this is the way we can update the record in database table. For example, we want to make that 1002 class 1 to class 2. So again, what we will do, we will copy this query and we will update this one, and in this time we want to update the column as class. So I will copy this column here. So I want to set class equals to 2, and I will remove this additional column because I just want to update only class 1 class column, and where a student roll number is 1002. So I will just make it 2. So once I will execute this, you can see updates done. Again here you can see if I will execute, you can see we are able to do the changes, see the changes here, right? So student class is 2. But friend, remember this update is also not auto commit. If I will do rollback after last commit, whatever changes I have done, that will be removed. So after the commit, what changes we have done? After the commit, first we changed the value for 1003 and added the student date of birth and added the mobile number for that. And after that, for 1002, we added changed the student class. So let me go for rollback. So if I will execute rollback, and again I will go to the checking the SQL table, you can see 1003, these two values removed, and 1002 class is what? Why? Because before last commit, whatever we have done, it's rollback. So for doing the permanent changes for each and every time when we do the DML operation, we have to execute our commit keywords separately. So here, first we updated the value for this two column, then we updated for this one, and I will go for commit. So you will be able to see the value here. And again, if I will go for rollback will be completed, but it will not reflect the changes or it will not do any changes because we already do the auto commit. You can see 1002 having class as 2, 1003 having the date of birth and the content. So that is about update commit. So now we have to go for delete. For example, let me insert one more record. So I'm going to insert one more record here, and this time I don't want to give this value 1006 as a roll number that we inserted. So here I got error, and that error is saying that missing expression. So why we are getting that error? It means that the code we written that is incorrect. So let me debug. So whenever you will go missing expression, it means that somewhere you have done comma mistake, somewhere you have done semicolon mistake, somewhere you have done the bracket mistake. All that kind of things will be there when we are saying it missing expression. That is we use the incorrect syntax, right? So here you can see in SQL developer, we easily identify it's showing error here, right? And we know that this is our invalid comma, extra comma. So we will remove this comma from here. Else you can go and you can check where you have done mistake. So as you know that this bracket start from here and this all are the column names. So bracket should be add here. Another bracket start from here and another column bracket should be add here. So that kind of thing you can do cross check. So here I'm just going to update one record. So this record will be inserted in table. And here you can see when we inserted, we don't have the roll number for this record, right? So let me go to the table again. right? And here you can see we have one more record, but this record doesn't have the roll number, right? That's fine. For example, we added another one more record, and this time it's Raja, and we inserted the record. If you will go to the table, you will be able to see two record doesn't have the roll number and remaining values. Later in few days, we got to know that whatever student available in the table without roll number, we want to delete. So how we will delete? So that's why we have delete command. So here we have to use delete from table name and that condition, same condition that we are using for update. So first we will use delete with condition. So delete with condition, it means that we have to delete by adding conditions. So here we will use delete. Delete is the keyword. Delete from, and here we have to provide the table name. So this is our table name, and we have to delete the data from this table based on which condition? Based on the condition where student roll number doesn't have any values, right? Where this roll number doesn't have any values. So I will just copy this roll number column and add the condition as where this column is not, this column is equals to null. This is our code, right? But remember, when I will execute this query, it will throw an error. So let me show you that error. So, okay. So it's not deleted any values, right? But it should ideally, it should delete two records, right? It should delete two records. But here when we executed, it didn't deleted any records. The reason behind is when we are using null value comparison, we cannot use equals to operation. This is the operator, right? This is equal to operator, and equals to operator never be used with null keywords, right? So then how we can compare? That's why we have is keyword, right? Remember this point, right? You will get that kind of questions in further session. So here we have to compare our column with null values, and when we have to compare any column with null values, so instead of using equals to operator, we have to use is operator. So now if I will execute this command, you can see we got the two records deleted. Why we got two records deleted? Because these two records were not having the roll number. I didn't execute this command, right? So I just move the switch the tab. So whenever we are executing query, it's going script output here, and after that we can come back to the previous result. So if again I will go and I will execute the query, you can see we are not able to see this remaining two records. But friend, remember, again this delete is a DML command and it is not auto commit. So here if you will go roll back, that two record will be back. So here if I will search, you will be able to see this two record. Where is roll back? Roll back. This should be returned. Okay. Okay. So why we are not able to see this two record? Because what we have done, we inserted two record, right? First we inserted two record and then we deleted two record. But when we inserted two record, there were total five and we didn't do commit. So let me add another two records. So this is one record and this is another record. So if I'll go here, so five records are there and let me do commit so that it can be committed. So now it's committed. Now we have to go for delete. So here we will use delete command where student roll number is equals to null. So this is null, right? So I will execute this query. So you can see two records deleted. If you go to the query, you will not be able to see these two records, right? So we are able to see only three records. And now if you want to roll back the changes because DML is not auto committed, delete is not auto committed. So if you will go to roll back, the two record will be roll back and it will be able to see again. So why? Because before deleting, we already done the commit. So this was our previous final commit one, right? So these two records came back. So now our requirement is that we have to delete all the records from table. We don't want a single record, right? So if we don't want a single record, we have to go for delete. So just we have to do delete from table name. So we have not added any condition. It means that it will delete all the records available in this table. So here, if I will execute, you can see 5 records deleted. And now if we will query the table, you will not be able to find any columns. And again, this delete is DML commands. It means that it can be rolled back, right? So if I will go roll back and I will execute this query again I will be able to see the data. I will be see the records because this DDL command, that DML command delete, is not auto commit. So now same way, if you will remember in previous session we learned about truncate, right? Truncate keyword is we are using to remove all the data from table. The same way we use delete. But the differences is with delete we can use the condition, where condition, but truncate we cannot use the condition. And truncate is also using for delete the record from table. So we will use again here. Right now the current status is we have 5 records available in this table, and let me go to commit. So this is our final status of this table. If I will go roll back, it will not be rolled back because we already committed. So here you can see we have total 5 records. So we know that when we will use delete command, it can be rolled back, right? So instead of delete, this time I will go for truncate. Truncate, truncate and table name. Truncate, table name. So now if I will execute this truncate is DDL command. Remember yesterday we learned about in the last section. So truncate will remove all the records from this table. So here let me execute. So once I will execute, you can see X table, this one truncated. So if I will query this table, we are not able to see any records because all the records deleted by truncate keywords. And if we will try to go and roll back, you can see we don't roll back. After roll back, ideally it should display all 5 records, right? But here this time it will not show because this truncate keyword is DML operation, DDL operation, and DDL operation is auto committed. So once it executed, it's remove all the records from table and it's automatically execute commit command. So once we done commit command, we cannot roll back. That's the reason when we are using DDL operation, we cannot roll back. So this is all about today's session. So last statement is merge. So we are just letting this merge for upcoming session. This merge statement will use to update and insert record in a single hit. So based on condition, if a record find that condition, it will it will update, or else it will go for insert. So that kind of logic we can do with merge. We will do this merge later on, and merge is also known as upsert. Up means update, sort means insert. So upsert is keyword combination of two words, update and insert. So that upsert and merge both are same. So we will learn, or we will go through the practice of this is later in upcoming session. So thank you so much for joining this session, and it's really nice. If you all have any questions and want to ask anything, your stage is open. You are then unmute yourself and you can ask.